Just 4 years ago, she chose to convert in such a surprising and impactful way that her journey made headlines globally. Respect, honor, and guidance are truly in the hands of Allah. This inspiring tale is about a volunteer from Italy, Silvia Romano, who was known for her criticisms of Islam and Muslims. Her life took a dramatic turn when she was kidnapped by a militant group during her humanitarian work in Africa. After being held captive for 2 years, Silvia was finally freed, thanks to efforts by the Italian government and the Turkish intelligence agency. But when she returned to Italy on May 10th, everyone was astonished to see the transformation she had undergone. This once modern woman was now dressed in a full hijab, covering herself from head to toe. The Italian Prime Minister welcomed her at the airport, but Silvia, who now preferred to be called Aisha, respectfully declined to shake his hand. She mentioned that physical contact was against her newfound beliefs, a statement that left everyone around her in surprise. This was the same woman whose modern fashion sense was once admired by many, who once regarded wearing revealing clothes as a norm, and who previously had little regard for religion. Yet here she was, so deeply devoted to Islam that she even declined to shake hands with her nation's leader. Silvia's life had changed completely. She was no longer the carefree modern woman she once was. She had found peace and a sense of purpose in Islam, now fully embracing her faith as Aisha. However, her conversion didn't come without challenges. The media and the Italian government criticized her, making her a target of negative press. Her only crime in their eyes was choosing to convert to Islam. She remained silent for 2 months, enduring the backlash quietly. Finally, she decided to give her first interview. During this interview, she revealed that before her kidnapping, she didn't believe in God. She shared that whenever she encountered terrible situations or witnessed suffering, she would tell her mother that she thought religion and God were myths. She couldn't understand why a loving God would allow so much pain in the world. However, after finishing her studies, Silvia joined a volunteer organization and moved to South Africa to contribute to humanitarian efforts. It was during this time that she experienced a life-altering journey, one that led her to Islam. In the interview, Aisha mentioned that the Italian government had even offered her a substantial sum of money to renounce her faith, but she stood firm, rejecting any attempt to turn her away from Islam. She also faced threats from people in Italy, warning her to give up her beliefs or face consequences. Yet, Aisha's faith remained unshaken, declaring that she had found peace and purpose in Islam and wouldn't leave it for anything. Aisha's story reflects a profound journey of faith, courage, and conviction, an inspiring testament to the idea that true transformation comes from within. This story is about a woman who had a completely negative opinion of Islam and Muslims. She once felt pity for a woman in hijab, thinking she was oppressed. Her perspective changed after a life-changing experience. During an interview, she shared that despite all the hatred and resistance she faced, she remained committed to Islam. When asked why, she explained that it all started during her time volunteering in Africa. She was there with good intentions, aiming to make a positive impact, yet was kidnapped. She couldn't understand why she was targeted, which led her to wonder if there was a higher power involved in this strange twist of fate. This question became the beginning of her journey towards discovering God. In captivity, alone and uncertain, she started to reflect deeply on life's mysteries. She couldn't answer her questions alone and sensed that perhaps there was someone or something guiding her journey. This realization grew as she spent more time thinking in isolation, and she began to believe that there was indeed a purpose behind everything that had happened to her. She often wondered if God was punishing her for not believing in him before. One night, she was in a deep sleep when a loud explosion shook her awake. It was a drone attack, the first she'd ever witnessed. Terrified, she genuinely felt it could be her last moment. At that instant, she broke down and prayed to God, pleading for her safety and a chance to reunite with her family. For the first time in her life, she addressed God directly, begging for her life. Her captors later gave her a copy of the Quran. As she began reading, she discovered its profound beauty and felt comforted. She realized that this book was guiding her, showing her a path she had never seen before. The more she read, the more she felt a unique spiritual peace. Every verse she read felt as though it was speaking to her personally, answering her questions and filling her heart with tranquility. She became more curious and continued studying the Quran every day. Each day made her stronger, and this inner strength gradually led her to accept Islam. Certain verses, like those in Surah Anfal, touched her deeply. One verse that particularly moved her was about forgiveness and hope. It says that if God finds goodness in people's hearts, He grants them something better than what was taken from them and forgives them for their sins, for He is merciful and forgiving. These words offered her comfort and made her feel as if God was directly speaking to her, guiding her along the way. She came to believe that her journey was no accident, but a path carefully laid out for her to find meaning in her life. Another verse from the Quran had a profound impact on me. It translates to, "How can you deny Allah when He gave you life? He will take your soul and then grant you life once again." These words deeply resonated with me, making me see life from a new perspective. Another verse that changed my life was from Surah Al-Imran, which states, "If Allah supports you, no one can overpower you. And if He leaves you, who then could help you apart from Him?" These verses gave me strength, especially when I missed my family or worried about my future. Worshipping Allah became my source of inner strength and comfort. Then, there's an interesting story about why I chose the name Aisha. I had a dream where I was buying a train ticket, and my Metro card had the name Aisha written on it. When I woke up, I felt amazed that God had chosen such a beautiful name for me. This was a small sign, but it felt like a divine confirmation of my new path. This story is about a modern woman who once denied God, but experienced a series of events that led her to embrace Islam. Her journey wasn't ordinary. It felt like a miracle, a divine intervention from Allah. Indeed, Allah grants guidance to whomever He wills.